Please rise for the Honorable Judge Morgan Freeman.
The hearing for fans of NASCAR versus the chase is now brought into session. The court recognizes Kamikaze Games, the prosecuting attorney for the fans of NASCAR.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I have been a fan of NASCAR racing for many, many years. And I personally find the chase to be a travesty, an unholy abortion of a championship and an illegitimate means of defining who has a good season in NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, Xfinity, and Camping World. Truck Series Seasons Championships. It's no good, folks. It's clear cut and obvious to me that no one thought this through. No one thought this through, alright? Or else they did and they're just doing this to torture us. Because let me tell you something. When you have a 6-win season and it all comes crashing down because of an engine. Just because of an engine. Just because of an engine. 25 laps remaining and an engine is what does this to you. Your season is done because of something entirely out of your control. But this is the best way to define a champion? Oh, I'm sure William Byron agrees with you greatly. Now listen here, I don't even like William Byron. I think he's not even as good as people make him out to be because he's in the best car in the field. We'll see what he does next year in Xfinity, but for now, let's just talk about how a guy with one win that came after Byron wrecked out of the race, or a guy with no wins, is somehow, some way more entitled to running for the championship as opposed to a guy who had 6 wins. 6! That's almost as many races as there are in the Truck Series chase. But this is not good enough to crown him as a champion. Nope. 5th place. When you have more wins than in the position of your point standings, and that position is 5th, you kind of gotta imagine there's just something a little slightly wrong with that. But that's just this year. That's just the Truck Series for that matter. Do you even want to get into the Xfinity Series? The Xfinity Series? How has Blake Cook had a better season than Ty Dillon? Can you tell me that? Can you tell me how many top 10s that Ty has as opposed to Blake? Can you tell me? Probably not, because you probably don't know how many top 10s Blake Cook has. And you probably lost count of how many Ty has. But for some reason, he's moving on to the next round and Ty isn't? Oh, that's how it is? Well, that's how it is. That's how it's gonna be, huh? That's how it's gonna be, huh? How about the Cup Series? How about Brad Keselowski, huh? Let's think about this honestly here, huh? Brad Keselowski has has had an okay season, I'd say. 4 wins? Well, that's pretty decent, don't you think? How is it that Keselowski is not running for a championship with his 4 wins, his best average finish out of anyone in the chase? But he's not running for the championship. Oh, but he's not running for the championship. But Logano is. The guy who's won half as many races. Half as many races. Oh, but he deserves a championship more than Keselowski because he had 1 bad race at Talladega. He had 1 blown engine. One blown engine. Oh, but that's just the beginning. Oh, you want to go back to last year? Where the champion didn't even run a third of the season? A third of the season. If he'd come back 1 race later, he would have missed 33% of the season. 33%. 33% of the season. Not even run. And that's who the champion is? Oh, and that's who the champion is. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I know that everyone on the defensive side is going to be saying, but prosecuting attorney Kamikaze, Kyle Busch had such a great season when he was there. How can you say that he didn't deserve the championship when he did so much better than everyone else at the races that he was there? Well, that's just the thing. He wasn't in a whole bunch of races. Don't you think that the season championship should go to someone who's been there the whole season? And I know what Kyle Petty's going to say. I know Kyle Petty's going to be like, well, you know, all those guys on the 18 team that was there when he was on the sidelines putting that car into positions of victory, they deserve the championship just as much as Kyle Busch does. Mr. KP, there is an owner's championship for a reason. There's a reason why there's an owner's championship. There's a reason why people apparently care about this in the Xfinity Series. When they can't have when they don't have a full-time driver in there, but they're still competing for a championship. It's almost as if there's something specifically for this. There's almost a semblance of an idea that, you know, maybe the past leadership of NASCAR was accounting for the possibility that a driver wouldn't make it in the full season, so they have a different championship to give to the guys who brought the car when the full-time driver wasn't there. I wonder what that could possibly be. It can't be the owner's championship. No, it must be the driver championship. You know, the driver championship, where all the fame and fortune is brought upon the driver, when that driver wasn't even driving for a third of the season. Oh, yes. Makes complete sense to me. Wow. 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 It makes complete sense. I don't even know what to say, dude. I mean, not to mention the fact that Logano last year had 6 wins. 6 wins. But he didn't even get to defend. I mean, he didn't even get to try for the championship at Homestead because clearly Kyle Busch, who missed a third of the season, Jeff Gordon, who everyone was saying was having the worst season of his entire career, and Martin Truex Jr., who had 1 win on the year, and yeah, They clearly deserve the championship more than someone who had 6 wins. Gotcha. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Man, I'm just so enlightened right now. I mean, if it weren't for the chase, do you think that Matt Kenseth would have wrecked Logano at Martinsville? Do you think that would have happened? Do you really think that would have happened? I do not believe. In my trained, professional, legal opinion, that would not have happened. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I could go on. And I will. 2014. You know what happened in 2014? 2014, all sorts of things happened in the chase in 2014. Hey, Jeff Gordon fans, remember Texas? I'm sure you do, and I'm sure half of you are as triggered as I am right now. I gotta say, that battle between Keselowski and Gordon, the fisticuffs that flew that day, is that not potentially the moment that defined the 2014 season? Is that not the moment? Is that not the thing that people look back on in 2014 the most? Honestly, when you think about it. When you think of 2014, what do you think? Do you think of the breakout season for Kyle Larson, battling against the greats like Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson? Do you think about that? Do you think about how Kevin Harvick was so dominant the entire season and how he deserved the championship when times came to a close? Do you consider the win by Kasey Kahne at Atlanta? Do you even remember that Kasey Kahne won at Atlanta? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I believe when you throw a monkey wrench into the season championship equation, such as the chase, the racing takes a back seat. Did you notice how at Talladega, Matt Kenseth, Kyle Busch, and Carl Edwards decided that it was in their best interest to remain at the back of the field all race long? Like they weren't even just back there to ride and move up to the front at the end. They were back there the entire event, from start to finish. Is that entertaining to you? It's not entertaining to me. Oh, in 2015, do you remember the battle between Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano and Watkins Glen? Do you remember the races in the chase that did not include Martinsville? Do you not include Kansas? Do you think about what happened at Texas? Do you think about what, unless you're a Brad Keselowski fan, do you think about what happened at the conclusion of Phoenix? When you think of 2014, do you more so think about Jeff Gordon versus Brad Keselowski in the pit box? When you think of 2015, do you more so think about Matt Kenseth versus Joey Logano? The point that I'm trying to make is that when the chase is implemented, the focus is taken away from the racing. Once again, do you think about champion Kevin Harvick when you think about 2014 chase, or do you think about Jeff Gordon and Brad Keselowski? In 2015, do you think about Kyle Busch, or do you think about Matt Kenseth versus Joey Logano? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the chase is nothing but manufactured drama created for the sole purpose of attempting to sell tickets to not a sporting event, but to a street fight. The chase is nothing more than just a joke. The chase is a farce. The chase is not racing. Do you want to know why it isn't racing? How is it racing when you run in the back of the field for the entirety of the event? When is it racing when you are forced to wreck your competitors in order to gain an advantage? When is it a race that you have to play conservatively when your engine's about to expire? And when your engine does expire, so does your chances to win the season championship. When is it a season championship? When all that matters is the final 10 races. How is a season championship defined by how you did that one day when your engine expired prematurely? When is it racing? When you have to lay down and die in order to move forward? When is it a season championship? When someone who had been defined as having the worst season of their career, how do they deserve a championship more than someone who had the best season of their career? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I rest my case.
The court would recognize the defense for the chase. Unfortunately, their lawyer, Mr. Brian France, was too drunk to make it to the courthouse. With that in mind, we have no choice but to send the jury out and deliberate. You, the jury, the commenter, the viewer, please leave your deliberations in the comment section of this video. And if you would like to see more courtroom drama, be sure to subscribe to the Kamikaze Games channel.